So hello everyone, this is my replacement for Thursday Thoughts last week. And you know, Thursday Thoughts last week we hit a bit of a technical problem. That technical problem was one of our machines had a graphics card failure, which meant that we could not run the streaming engine that we use to actually broadcast live to the Tinterweb. There are actual lots of tools that you need to be able to do that, and if anybody's looking at that, it actually gets complicated and expensive. So especially if you want to try and my aim is to make this good quality content, as in, you know, I like the idea of it being broadcast ready, as they say, to go out to YouTube and those kind of things. So anyway, this is my Thursday Thoughts this week, and I'm in the middle of the woods here, just outside Chichester. It's Sunday, it's sunny, it's warm. I've bought myself some new gear so I can do some wild camping and do some wildlife photography and that kind of stuff when it gets really warm. So today is all about me just checking it out and make sure that it's working correctly. And I can tell you that it's working perfectly because I've just had an hour snooze in the hammock there. So anyway, that's why there. So why are you with me? Well, I just thought while I was here, the plan is that I was going to come out and do some wildlife photography. There's loads of birds and there's a few deer and that gone past, but I thought I'd do a quick vlog in lieu of last week's Thursday Thoughts, and I thought I'd do a podcast while I was here as well. So I'll be doing a podcast which will go out in 2 or 3 weeks time. So what did I thought? Well, first and foremost, there was a stack of news this week. You know, the BAE Systems with the aircraft that they believe is going to be able to stay in the air for a year. Rolls-Royce looking at relocating from London up to Derby, I think is kind of the preference, is what I'm reading. There's lots of stuff going on, and in fact I'm going to do a blog on one that I read, which was Mercedes-Benz are now saying that they are looking at doing away completely with printed handbooks, and now your user manuals will all be on a augmented reality app, which I thought was interesting because Semcon have been doing that for a long time already with people like Jaguar Land Rover. Although when I bought my Land Rover, I still had a paper handbook in the glove box. So I find that interesting. Anyway, so there was a load of news. I'll recap all of that at our next Thursday Thoughts, and purely because I didn't bring it out here with me. So those are 3 things that I got off the top of my head. But I thought what I wanted to do is, just turning more to the thoughts, I wanted to talk about a conversation I had with somebody who I respect tremendously and I've known for a very, very long time, and is really one of those technical communicators, managers, experts that, you know, when they talk, I actually, you know, sit up and I listen to what they have to say. You know, this conversation that we had was that, you know, we were just having a casual conversation, and flattered me a little bit is that this chap said that he uses some articles that I've written in the past and some tutorials that I've done in the past on succession planning and why we need to be succession planning for the future, for the next generation of technical communicator. And it actually turns out that this guy uses my articles to educate internally why we should be doing certain things in our domain. And we went off down a conversation route where I was talking more about, you know, I can see that this is going to become an acute problem in technical information, especially if our field is not developing. If we are sitting in PDF kind of realm, which 98% of you out there are doing, you still have to support PDF. And, you know, interactive IETPs are already becoming kind of old hat. They're becoming, you know, kids these days want to be playing with AR, VR, AI. They want to be doing clever stuff with information. They want to be more creative with information. And trying to convince people to come into our domain and write traditional technical manuals is becoming more and more of a challenge, even for technical publications houses. Trying to identify the right people to come in and write and produce and deliver traditional technical manuals is actually very, very hard. And this is one of the reasons why, and I've said before, I'm holding this, I've drank it already, one of the reasons why I started TDW I started TDW because I could see that this was going to become a real problem, that we were struggling to attract talent, and I've talked about why that talent is missing, and you know, that pool, that traditional pool that people like me came from, an engineering pool and into technical information, has dried up, is drying up. And you know, people that I know who are leaving an engineering discipline are going off into other areas now. You know, technical information is just not sexy, and I've talked about that before, and I've talked about that on previous tutorials, and in my article I talk about that. So we need to decide, how can we make this more attractive to our younger generation that needs to come in. Now the problem, of course, then lies is that certainly when you're working in our sector, it is a bonus if you have an engineering background, if you have some formal training in engineering. You know how rivets work, you know what torque is, you know what, you know, all of these, you know, Newton meters are, and what the theory of flight is, and all this kind of stuff. You can then align what you know from that side of the world over to the technical information side of the world. And you know, that's where we see our kind of more seasoned technical information specialists are coming from. So the problem is that pool's drying up. So now we have to try and encourage people into our field, because at the moment we are not changing the way that we produce information quickly enough to keep pace with things like augmented VR, AR, that kind of stuff, AI. And so, you know, one of the things that we're doing at TDW is, you know, we've identified this problem, and we're introducing a online technical authoring course, but specifically focused on aerospace, defence and space. And we want it to be far more engaging and much more hip and trendy, is kind of a bit old-fashioned itself now, but something that actually encourages and what makes the younger generation want to sit and watch and listen and engage with and learn with. So in the next couple of weeks you'll see an announcement from us here at TDW that, you know, we have produced an online course that once a week we release a lesson, and the lesson is anything from 30 to 90 minutes, and you sit down and you learn about things like processes and what technical information is and how you gather information and what's a review cycle and that kind of stuff. And then we look at the role of software and standards and how we can deploy information and that kind of stuff. All interactive, all online, and all in a way that we hope is engaging to those that want to learn more about technical information. When I had my conversation with this chap, he's saying that, you know, there's a real lack of skills out there. There's a real lack of talent out there. That's one of our missions. That's why I started TDW. This is what I wanted TDW to be. This is what I wanted TDW to do. This is what I wanted it to help aid that problem, is try and encourage that next generation of information specialists into our market. And that's what we're up to. I'd be interested to hear what you're doing. I know that a lot of you have sent me your thoughts on that already, and some of you are doing apprentice schemes and that kind of mentoring schemes and that kind of stuff, which is, you know, obviously very, very valuable and is delivering some results. So, but we're trying to do something as well at TDW to try and encourage that. You know, we're working on, in the UK here, we have something called Armed Forces Resettlement, and we're working on a resettlement program for those that do leave the forces to come into technical communication. And we're going to help promote that and drive that and what we do and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of a slightly different Thursday Thoughts this week. We should be back to normal this week. I've been told that the graphics card has been dispatched, so hopefully we'll get that fitted. Today's Sunday, hopefully get that fitted Monday afternoon, Tuesday morning, and then we'll be back live and back online. And I'm actually going to make myself some sausages. Claire's put some sausages in the bag for me, and going to sit here for another couple of hours before I go home and probably record a podcast. I think I'd like to do something on a podcasty while I'm here. And we've ordered some MacBook Pros as well, which should be a little bit more heavy hitting. So hopefully they will mean that we can actually do some outdoor broadcasting, which is something that we're very, very keen to do, very interested in doing. You know, they say you can take the guy out of green, but you can't take the green out of the guy. And you know, this is kind of the stuff that I like to avoid when I was actually in the forces, but I actually like being outside now. But anyway, let me know what you're doing about planning for the future within your organisation, and keep an eye out for our announcement on the online course that we'll be releasing very shortly. If you'd like more information on that, please just do send in an email to us at memberservices@techdataworld.com. Also, don't forget GDPR, 25th of May. We are switching off our newsletter list, and hundreds of you have already re-signed up. Thank you very much for that. But if you want to continue to receive our notifications and our information that we put out there, you need to re-sign up to our newsletter. I will keep going on about this until early June, and then I'll stop talking about it. So if you haven't re-signed up to our newsletter, do so now. I'm going to go make myself another peppermint and honey, because that actually went really quickly, and then I'm going to make myself some sausages. From the woods, see you later.